Thank you. The tough thing is that the first section or two, the first chapter of this book is a lot of definitions. And there's just not too many ways to make definitions super interesting, super fun. But it is the language we have to speak in. And one of the key things in doing these problems is just to realize what is actually being asked for, what's being said here. And so these words that kind of get thrown around are important. First of all, one thing that will happen is different problems will be restricted to different subsets of numbers. And so some of these numbers, it's important to know which these numbers are. The first subset is the natural numbers. So under the natural numbers, you might type this symbol or write this symbol. The natural numbers are basically this set of numbers that you'd count with. So they're even sometimes called the counting numbers. So they're numbers like 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. That's the natural numbers. Now, the next set of numbers seems weird to call it a whole different set because there's only one little difference from the set called the natural numbers. In the whole numbers, it's all these numbers you count with plus the concept of 0. And so these numbers start at 0, go 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So that's the whole numbers. And then things get a little bit bigger because sometimes we want to talk about direction or the difference between owing money and being owed money, the difference between going backwards versus going forwards. And so then we have the idea of negative numbers being thrown into the mix. So we have all these numbers that are in the whole numbers plus their opposites. So we have numbers, I start ... to say this is going on forever in this negative direction too. We have -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and it just keeps on going, 4, 5, etc. Okay. So these three sets are the easiest to describe because you just describe a list and it's just a certain list of numbers. The next three sets get a little weird. Okay? This set called the rational numbers. And sometimes I was thinking I didn't know a symbol for them, but actually the symbol Q is often used. And the reason the symbol Q gets used when people make a number for these, knowing these letters isn't as important as knowing what the sets of numbers are. But what the word Q is used is Q stands for quotient. So basically the rational numbers are going to be all these numbers that can be expressed as fractions. So you have an integer on the top and a non-zero integer downstairs on the bottom. And we say non-zero downstairs because dividing by 0 doesn't make sense. Dividing by 0 doesn't make sense as an operation. So we exclude 0, but everything else that can be expressed as integer over integer is okay. Now, I'm tempted to write over here, but I want to stay on the camera. So is everyone done with what's on the board right now? Okay. Let's then erase and make some more space and talk about then some examples of rational numbers and some non-examples of them.